the top section of Rosh Nun Beis. A very interesting subtlety that it brings out. That even though in Ratzon, what is Nimshach is also only Ha'ara. Etzem Ratzon is not Nimshach, even though that is what we originally said. That Ratzon is different than all the koiches is only Ha'ara, and Ratzon is Nimshach the Etzem Ratzon. And now we kind of qualify that. No, Ratzon is also only Ha'ara. But the Ha'ara of Ratzon has an etzem quality to it. This is what we need to understand, what is being explained to us. It is a Ha'ara. But in Ratzon, being the koyach that it is not a koyach pnimi that's mslabish in kelim. It's a koyach that stands on its own. So to speak, it has its own agenda. The Ha'ara also has an etzem quality to it. It's called Atmos Ha'ara. Atmos Ha'ara is almost a contradiction in term. What is meant by Atmos Ha'ara? This is what we explained. That in Ratzon there are two phases of Ratzon. You can't call it two madregas, but two phases, two aspects in Ratzon. To begin with, Ratzon, I hope we think into these words, try to understand what we are alluding to. What is Ratzon? We tried very much to get us to connect with this. It's an important concept. A person stands. Does he stand because his feet hold him up? Or is there a spirit that holds him up? And as we said many times, the sechel will not hold him up. The midas will not hold him up. This is a koyach that holding up. This is a koyach superior to all functioning as levels. He stands because he wants to stand. There's a certain reality to it. This is Ratzon. This is koyach makifi. A koyach makifi that is independent of the circumstance. It doesn't go into a keli. It functions totally on its own. We even want to Sfar, the Rebbe brings out the term what's called Gidei HaRatzon. Gidei HaRatzon, veins of the Ratzon. Does it have veins? It creates its own veins. It reaches out by its own power. Nothing has to bring it there. So we pointed out, it says Ha'ara and Atzem Ha'ara. What is Ha'ara? What is the Chitzonis Ha'ara? What is the Etzem Ha'ara? This we try to identify as follows. There is in Ratzon, as I said, two phases. The common Ratzon is after the fact. Like we gave you the example. A person, everybody appreciates money. If you give it to me, I'll appreciate it. I'll hold it, I'll cherish it. But then there is another aspect, another phase to that. That is the initial step towards getting it. When you don't have it. When you have it, you see its benefit. You see its value. But to have it prior to having it, prior to have the projection, so to speak, and the impetus to go and get it, this is a completely different aspect, phase of Ratzon. This is called the Etzem HaRatzon. I appreciate it after the fact, that's not Ratzon. In essence. This is what the Rebbe says. And to appreciate it after the fact, this is a ha'ara chitzenius. Mamash ha'ara chitzenius. Etzem ha'ara is reflective of what Ratzon is per se. Where even though it's a ha'ara, but in this ha'ara is contained the power and the compelling element to go and create it, initiate it. This Etzem ha'ara, if it can initiate it without there being a basis for it, this is Ratzon. It creates its own reality. And this is what the Rebbe concludes. This is why it has the Shlita Mamshol. It has the power of directing and overcoming all obstacles in all other koiches, giving other koiches a path and a perspective of going to do it before he even attempted to, before he even experienced it. This is in Ratzon because, or rather I should say, and this also exposes a totally different reality in Ratzon in contrast to other koiches. Like the Rebbe says, other koiches are mislavish in kelim. And we explained what does mislavish in kelim mean. Mislavish in kelim means that you do that which the keli demands. Almost as a byproduct, you have the real thing come out. Like a carpenter putting together planks. As a byproduct, a table comes out. He doesn't build up a table. He puts the pieces of wood together. That's his skill. The concept of a table, this is something which comes from a different source, and this is almost what's called inadvertently. It's a byproduct of his work. A Ratzon is focused on this byproduct. What is it about? This is the pshat that the ha'ora and the Ratzon has an atzmiyus element. Atzmiyus means an essential element. This essential element, even though it's a ha'ora, is so powerful that it can create the circumstance.
To remain on this call, press
It
1.
can compel the startup, the activity. And it compels all the koiches to come forth. As Rebbe says, Ratzon pushes the sechel out to the forefront to go and engage in what the sechel is supposed to engage. Without Ratzon, the sechel will stay put, will dormant, and it will absorb only that which the chitzeni is what is given to him. He will never go down to the essence. What is the point? What are you trying to explain to me? Why are you explaining this to me? All that sechel does not appreciate the whole thing. Ratzon has that quality because Ratzon represents the essence of the nefesh. Essence is the truth of its own. Now we go to the second section over here.
Sechel.
What?
Sechel doesn't go there. It doesn't go into why what's behind it.
That's right. Ratzon is the guy that compels the sechel to go there.
But it compels the sechel to go there.
That's right.
Okay.
Sechel is uninterested. I understand. Oh, I got you. I understand what you're saying. Why are you telling this to me? That's a Ratzon. That's a Ratzon element.
But it'll compel sechel to also.
But
But it'll compel sechel to also go there.
yeah, but it's the Ratzon that directs the sechel to that. It's not a sechel element. Why do you care?
It does seem like we say sechel is a very clear channel, and there's no agenda of its own, so hence it seeks truth. But here we're saying it doesn't have that proactive stance at all.
It doesn't have that power.
The power to seek truth.
To see truth, yes, but to create truth is a different thing.
Uh,
Does sechel have an atzmus aspect, or
It has an atzma sechel, but okay, this is on a different phrase. I said everyone appreciates money after the fact.
Sechel won't make money, Ratzon will make it.
For make him to go up here to make money.
Sechel will seek truth, Ratzon will make truth.
That's right, you could say that. Ratzon doesn't even have that definition of truth, reality itself. Again, we can go in circles and apply terms in. We have to bring our own Ratzon into understanding this. Without that, we're going to go in circles. And we're going to have a seichel definition of Ratzon, which is not Ratzon. Okay, again, going to the next section. Umuvan gamkein, and is also understood, which means self-understood, the hamshochas of Ratzon, that the drawing down of Ratzon, shenimshach, where it is drawn, b'chol evorei haguf, in all limbs of the body, upoil bohem, and actually functions and has an effect on them or through them. Ein zeh b'bchinas is galus mamash. The senior that the Ratzon functions and has an effect to the Evorim. In the Evorim, it is not a type of his a type of presence of Ratzon of his galus mamash. His galus means full revelation of the presence of the Ratzon. These are words from the Maimon. Bivchinas is galus mamash. It is not a form of gisgalus that one can be describing it as his galus mamash, a factual his galus. K'moi, similar to his galus or pnimi. The way pnimi is his galus. What is the oil pnimi, his galus of oil pnimi? So ultimately the best example of that is sechel. But prior to going to sechel, we have to use lower koiches. And as we said, for example, the swing of the hand and the swing by the hand, swinging the hammer. This koyach of tnuah, of movement, is actually present in the hand as a koyach tnuah. It's a koyach. We see that the hand is not constantly moving. It's moving when you activate this koyach.
Koyach means an ability.
I don't know what koyach. Koyach is a force. Koyach is a force. Ability is in a different level.
Because it was like proven how they say it's a koyach because it's not constant.
Because what?
Because it's not constant moving.
That's right.
So
I think it's a force. So you bring it, you activate it when you're not activated.
So it's the aptitude.
Huh?
Could we say aptitude? Aptitude.
Aptitude. No, that's a different level. Let me, before we go on and try to apply terminology to this, the terminology is unimportant. The reason it's being explained to us because we have it and we should understand it from personal experience. Like I said before, when you stand steadfast, you stand. I said this is the koyach haratzon that makes it that stands. Do we understand that?
yes.
You don't understand it?
Is thinking in a different context.
There's no context. This is the person.
It's obvious.
Huh?
It's obvious.
It's obvious. It's a
Yeah.
human being. He can stand. He can stand because he has the the power to make himself stand. Make himself stand. This is a Ratzon. There are functional koiches that are mislabish in keli. Like I said, the swing of a hand. The swinging of a hammer, and as a result of hitting a nail and sinking the nail into a piece of wood is done by the hand, but the hand doesn't do it. It's the koyach chutzpah, huh?
Chutzpahniak.
The hand, it's not the hand, it's a koyach in the hand that does it. And we're saying even further, yet it is a koyach in the hand. But what activates this koyach? This koyach can be there forever. What activates this koyach is the Ratzon, to compel the koyach to come through. Ratzon is a totally elusive presence, koyach. We can't, so to speak, put our finger on it. The reason we can't put our finger on it is that it is all-encompassing. This is what the human being is all about. Okay, so let's continue. So the Rebbe says, the Ratzon is nimshach in all the koyachs, and in all the ivorim. If you can swing your hand, It is because there's a Ratzon that brings out this koyach of movement, compels us in the movement. This Ratzon that is then in this hand and compelling the hand to move or to bring out the koyach of movement is not the etzem Ratzon. It is not be his in full his galus itself. It is not in full his galus, which means that it does not become part and parcel of the koyach in the hand, and it does not become part and parcel of the hand. When the hand swings the hammer, this movement of the hand is actually a koyach that is imbued in the hand and becomes completely owned by the hand. The Ratzon that is also mislabish in the hand, he said, is not a slapshus mamosh. It does not. The Ratzon makes the hand swing, but the hand does not become Ratzon that it wants to swing. Swinging the hand is part of the koyach of the hand, but the will to swing it is not part of the hand. This is something which the Ratzon compels it. It remains aloof. There is no such thing as say that I started swinging my hand, I can't stop it. Already my Ratzon took over, I'm sorry, so therefore I have to, it has to continue. It doesn't, there's no such thing. You can stop on a dime.
Which illustrates that it's not really Malubash.
It's not part of the hand.
If it had been Malubash, there it would be.
Yeah, then that's right. He can stop it.
If the Ratzon wants to stop, it would stop.
Huh?
Then if the Ratzon would want to stop, it would stop.
The Ratzon stops compelling it, so it stops. A car is the inertia in the car. You start the car moving, and it doesn't stop unless you apply brakes. If you stop propelling it, you stop giving it, so to speak, further movement, it's not going to stop by itself because it's already in movement. It can be said that hand is already in movement, so you can't. It's not responsible for it. Yes, sir.
It's important to understand this, if not, no. I don't understand.
The important to understand what the Rebbe says here. The Ratzon is not his chalus mamash in the Eber. It is not really contained in the Eber like the Pnimi, so that it becomes part and parcel of the Eber. Once I start the wave moving, I have no choice. I already surrendered, so to speak, the Ratzon to the hand. No such thing. What, you looking at your hand?
I don't get it.
What's that bringing out?
It's bringing out that even though the Ratzon is mislabish in the hand, but it's not mislabish in the way that it becomes part and parcel of the hand, like the koyach of movement.
The fact that it stops or doesn't stop doesn't indicate whether it's Malubash there or not. Movement is Malubash, but it stops, and it goes and stops. The fact that it's not ongoing, that doesn't seem to prove anything or show anything further. It's not Malubash, okay.
This is a means to identify the difference between Bislapshus and Abislapshus.
several times you noted that the movement of a hand to do something is not robotic, meaning that it's not just following a computer program. It's God's. What was the truth of that? Okay, that doesn't. Okay, I mean it seems to contradict what you're saying now.
What's contradicting?
Because to me it does. It seems like on the one hand it's not robotic, it's not mechanical. Meaning that a robot is following instructions from a central computer, but it itself doesn't care or have any awareness of its task. Here you're saying that, and you were saying that when a human being builds something or does something with his hand, it's not that way. There's a koyach in it. And here you're saying that no, the Ratzon does not enclose itself in the hand does not feel the Ratzon. It's just forced by the Ratzon. That's what I'm hearing here. So the Ratzon is like the computer program or the program or whatever.
No, the Ratzon takes over rulership over the hand.
Ah, okay.
Okay, that's the end of that question, I think.
Well, I'll try to understand again. If the Ratzon would be mislabish in the hand, then it would keep on moving. And my question is, why would it keep on moving? If the Ratzon wants to move, it's going to move. If the Ratzon does want, it's not going to move. What does it make a difference if it's mislabish or not? It's anyways controlled by the Ratzon.
Right.
Whether it continues to move or not is one thing. Whether it continues to want to move. If the Ratzon is mislabish in the hand, so then that compelling element is still there. There isn't that element.
There remains something.
Aspect of compulsion.
Why would it remain if the Ratzon decided it doesn't want to now to move?
The ability to swing a hand, is that in the hand all the time?
No.
No?
The ability, yes.
What's it doing there?
It's a potential.
Huh? The same way would be the Ratzon. But the Ratzon does not have. There's not a constant will in the hand to swing or to do anything.
Not that it'll move.
Well, I have a perfect example to illustrate our dilemma here. Because he was talking about the robotic. A hand that swings to nail a nail, there's two possibilities. It could nail or it could miss. If it misses, it's going to do it again. And I think that's where Ratzon comes into it. That negates the robotic thing.
Either he's a shlimazel or he's a real carpenter.
Depends. Even a carpenter could miss.
But the Rebbe's gonna.
I watched a carpenter to sink a nail, 2 swings.
Yeah.
Not one.
Not one. Boom. Boom.
Well, 2 swings. So 1 swing is not enough.
Okay, let's continue. We're forgetting the aim that we're trying not to become carpenters to understand the Ratzon. Okay, the Rebbe is taking pains over here to explain to us something. He says it's moving itself understood. That even though the Ratzon is nimshach means it is drawn and it functions in all the Evorim, there's still a difference between how the particular koyach, particular to this Eivor, is b'hisgalos in this Eivor, and how the Ratzon is b'hisgalos in the Eivor. The koyach of movement in the hand is really becomes part and parcel of the hand. The Ratzon that directs it does not become part and parcel of the hand. It remains a Ratzon, a koyach Ratzon independent of the hand.
Why does it say now is galus instead of slapshes? Why is that change of the?
The koyach of movement in the hand is b'yislapshus in the hand. And it's there all the time. But you can't tell. When can you tell that he has a koyach of movement? When it's b'yisgalus. But when it's b'yisgalus, it's the actual koyach that b'yisgalus. It actually is involved in the movement of the hand. Ratzon, when it's hisgalos, it doesn't have a real hisgalos. It's directing the hand to move, but it's not a real hisgalos, even if it's there. The Rebbe said, the second line, that it should be his arbus v'hisardos in hakoiches. He should intertwine and unite with the koiches. There is no such thing. Okay, I'm starting again the third line. Being that this Ratzon is not bifchinas, it does not have the aspect of the relationship of oil and a keli. Oil and a keli means that the keli captures. The keli can capture and represent what the soil is about. This means oil keli. There is no such keli that can capture what Ratzon is. Take a look how we are struggling and going back and forth, and we say we can't identify Ratzon.
The lihios v'chinas hisarvus. This is what it is, or this is what it isn't.
But no, the Ratzon does not become hisgalus that it should be in a risarvus in salvus and arkeches. It does not reach that level. The Ratzon is there, functioning, but it doesn't become part and parcel of the koiches. Because it does not have the quality of oil keli. Oil keli means that the keli that the oil can define itself to the keli in a manner that the keli identifies with the oil. Yes, indeed, that's what I am. We gave the example of a cup. A cup holds water. A cup holds water, not water the way the water is in the lake. Water that is identified with its function, a specific particular function. Of human consumption. This is the oil. This water is meant to give life to the person, or to satiate his thirst. That is the limit of this water. And that becomes fully defined in the keli. This is what the keli is about. This is the water is about, and what the keli is about.
So the keli is about life, about giving life.
The keli is about serving the human being.
By Ratzon, it'll never be held by the keli.
That's right.
It'll touch and initiate a whole lot of things, but
that's right. But it doesn't. It's not captured in the keli. It's not definable by keli.
It's a will that'll never be satisfied. It'll never reach its end. It'll always be.
He's always satisfied.
It's always satisfied and never come to an end.
Never come to an end is right.
Yeah, always active, always getting there, always. Okay.
Okay, the beginning of the third line over here. I'm repeating these words because these are very clear words that the Rebbe is trying to get us to focus in. It does not become, the Ratzon does not become united with the koyach since it is not that ilk of being an Ein Keli. It is not definable at the Keli level. Koyches that are definable on the Keli level. Ratzon is not definable on the Keli level. And then furthermore, this is further compelling the scene that we started saying that it is not full his galus mamish, because the hamshocha of the Ratzon, who me'atzmus harotzon, the hamshocha of the Ratzon is me'atzmus harotzon, is not a sub-function of the Ratzon on a functional level. It's from the etzem of the Ratzon. She'einoi begeder his galus mamash. This etzem of the Ratzon which is not begeder, which is not in that category of having the aspect of his galus mamash. Etzem does not come to his galus. Etzem is a standalone and always stands in its own reality. The hamshoch of Ratzon is from the atzem of the Ratzon. Even though we said it is ha'ora, but the ha'ora carries of the atzmos of Ratzon. And we identified this element in the ha'ora of that from that angle. The fact that in the Ratzon, for example, to have money, there is much more than the Ratzon to have money. It becomes a compelling koyach to get you up and go and get it, even though we don't have it yet. Like we said, to appreciate that which a person has, sees. Oh yeah, I see it. I appreciate it. But to go and create it when it's not there, that's a completely different phase of the koyach. That's pre-existent aspect of the koyach. This is an etzem koyach. This pre-existent aspect in the koyach is the called atzmos or Ratzon.
Since Ratzon itself is an atzmius koyach, so we're talking about it's the atzmos of the atzmos.
She'ene begeder his galus mamash. Since it's me'atzmos or Ratzon, it is not in the category of his galus mamash. Again, his galus mamash. It is be his galus. But what does his galus mamash mean? His galus mamash means that this aspect of it becomes part and parcel of the keli, to stay be his galus. The keli captures it. There's no such thing as a capturing. Kiim, rather, I said we have to follow the Rebbe's teaching over here. And every time that he repeats it, it's due to the fact that there is something still needed to be recognized. Kiyim, rather, it is not the his galus mamash. His galus means a functional aspect. But here, by Ratzon, it's not his galus. Kiyim, rather, zehu masho atzmus nimshach. It is that the etzem haratzon, or the atzmus, is nimshach. The atzmus itself is nimshach. This word atzmus here doesn't say atzmus hakoyach, atzmus haratzon, but atzmus itself. That is because we explained earlier that Ratzon is not an add-on to the nefesh. Ratzon is a tendency of the nefesh itself, tending in one direction or another.